It was a quiet evening when Lily first saw the garden. She had always been fond of walking through the woods behind her grandmother's house. A small cottage tucked away on the edge of an ancient forest. But this time she had wandered further than she ever had before. Her curiosity pulling her beyond the familiar paths, over streams and through thick brambles. It was in the deepest part of the forest, where the sunlight barely touched the ground, that she found it. Hello, my friend. Welcome to tonight's sleep story. My name is Serafina, and it's my pleasure to guide you into a peaceful night's rest. At first, it looked like nothing more than a grove of trees, their trunks gnarled and twisted like old men deep in conversation. But as she stepped closer, something strange began to happen. The air itself seemed to hum with a soft, melodic vibration. The leaves, though still, appeared to shimmer with colors that Lily had never seen before. Deep purples and soft blues, like a sky at twilight. She couldn't look away. Her feet moved on their own, drawn toward the source of the strange beauty. And then she saw it. Nestled between the trees was a garden, but not like any garden she had ever imagined. It was vast, stretching as far as her eyes could see, filled with flowers that were as tall as trees, their petals opening and closing like the breaths of something alive. The ground was soft with moss and velvet grasses, and the scent of something sweet and unknown filled the air. But the most striking part, the plants, the flowers, the trees, they were giants. Lily's heart raced as she stood at the edge of the garden, looking into a place that felt like both a dream and a forgotten memory. She reached out to touch one of the leaves, but before her fingers could make contact, a soft voice echoed through the garden, warm and inviting, yet full of mystery. "You found it," the voice whispered. "You found the giant garden, and now you must decide." Before we continue with Lily's adventure in the garden, let's take a moment to find stillness together. Wherever you are right now, find a comfortable place to sit or lie down. Let your body rest softly, as if you're sinking into the gentle embrace of the earth. Feel the weight of the day lift off your shoulders, like the soft breeze that brushes against your skin. Allow your muscles to soften, your breath to slow. Take a deep, soothing breath in, and then gently exhale, letting go of any tension you may be holding. Breathe in again, feeling the coolness fill your lungs, and exhale, releasing any thoughts that might be lingering one by one. Now, imagine that you're standing at the edge of the giant garden, just like Lily. The soft, dewy earth beneath your feet feels like a cushion, inviting you to stay a while. The air is fresh, carrying the scent of something ancient, something peaceful. Every breath you take is a gift, a reminder that you're here, right where you need to be. You're safe, you're free, and in this quiet moment, all you need to do is let go. With every breath, you feel yourself sinking deeper into the calm, letting go of any weight you're carrying, allowing yourself to drift further into this enchanted world. Picture the sky above you, not just any sky, but a sky filled with stars that glow softly, their light warm and inviting. Feel the soft hum of magic in the air, like a lullaby, waiting to carry you into a dream. Now, imagine that you're walking deeper into the giant garden, each step lighter than the last. With every step, you feel yourself drifting deeper into peace, leaving behind everything except the present moment. Feel the softness of the moss beneath your feet, the delicate brush of petals against your skin, the way the air seems to caress your cheeks. You don't need to rush. You have all the time in the world here. Everything in this place is slow, gentle, and timeless. As you walk, let the sounds of the garden fill you. The rustle of leaves, the quiet murmur of unseen creatures, the whisper of distant waterfalls, all of it blends together into a soft, comforting symphony. You are part of this world now, connected to its rhythm. With each breath, you sink further into the calm. Everything is as it should be. Now, let your mind quiet and allow your thoughts to drift like the leaves in the breeze. No worry, no distractions, just the soft, gentle peace of the garden surrounding you. And when you are ready, we will continue our journey with Lily. But for now, just rest in this place and let yourself feel the peace and magic that fills the air. Lily hesitated, her hand suspended just above the shimmering leaf. The voice that had spoken to her seemed to come from everywhere, and yet nowhere at all. It was like the garden itself was alive, breathing with her, waiting for her next move. The words it had spoken lingered in her mind. You found it. You found the giant garden, and now you must decide. What could it mean? She wondered. A rustle from behind her made her turn. Out of the shadows, stepping gracefully from between the great trees, came a figure, tall and slender, cloaked in a soft, silvery mist. At first, Lily thought it was a trick of the light, but as the figure drew nearer, it became clear. The figure was a woman, her face both ageless and kind, her eyes glowing faintly like the stars above. "Don't be afraid," the woman said with a gentle smile. Her voice was soft, like the rustle of wind through leaves. "I know you're wondering what this place is. I can see it in your eyes." Lily felt a flutter in her chest, a strange mix of awe and trepidation. "What is this place?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. The woman's smile deepened. "It is the giant garden," she said, "a place of magic, of wonder, and of choices." Lily's heart skipped a beat. She had only heard stories of such places in the old fairy tales her grandmother used to tell her. Stories of hidden worlds, gardens filled with secrets, and adventures waiting to be discovered. But now she was standing in the middle of one, its vastness stretching before her, full of possibilities. "But what am I supposed to do here?" Lily asked, her voice trembling with the weight of the question. The woman stepped closer, her presence calming, like the stillness of the forest after a storm. "In this garden," she said softly, "everything has a purpose. The plants, the trees, the flowers, they are alive and they remember. But more than that, they can help you if you choose to listen." Lily's brow furrowed. Listen? The woman nodded. The garden speaks if you know how to hear. It's been waiting for someone like you. But the question is, what will you choose to hear? Will you listen to its wisdom, or will you walk away, back into the world you know? Lily felt a chill run down her spine, as though the garden itself was watching her, waiting. The giant flowers seemed to lean closer, their petals opening wider, their fragrance more intoxicating. She could feel the pull, the deep allure of the place. I don't understand, Lily murmured. The woman's smile softened. You don't need to understand just yet. For now, the only thing you need to do is to stay. Let the garden show you what it wants to teach you, and when the time comes, you will know what to do. Lily glanced around at the towering plants, their enormous flowers swaying gently in the breeze. There was so much mystery in this place, so much beauty, and yet something else, something deeper that made her feel both comforted and uneasy. The quiet hum of magic was palpable now, like a pulse in the air. The woman extended her hand, a gesture of invitation. Come, Lily, she said. Let me show you the heart of the garden. Lily took a breath, her heart racing. She wasn't sure why, but she knew she couldn't turn back now. The garden had called to her, and she had answered. With one last look at the path she had come from, Lily placed her hand in the woman's, and together they began to walk deeper into the giant garden. As they moved forward, the world around her seemed to shift. The trees grew taller still, their branches intertwining above, creating a canopy of silver leaves that glowed with a soft, ethereal light. Strange, delicate creatures darted through the undergrowth, their wings shimmering like the moonlight. Lily's heart swelled with wonder. This was no ordinary place. But there was something else here too, something waiting. The deeper Lily walked into the giant garden, the more it seemed to come alive. The air grew thicker with the perfume of blooming flowers, and the whispers of unseen creatures echoed softly in the distance. The woman, still at her side, moved with a grace that made it seem as though she was part of the garden itself, her movements as fluid as the wind that rustled the leaves above them. Lily could feel the pulse of magic in the air, a gentle thrum that seemed to speak to her, urging her to look closer at the world around her. The leaves on the trees shimmered in the dappled light, their colors shifting with each step they took, and the flowers, they were no longer simply large like trees, but seemed to be aware, as though they were observing Lily's every move. The woman beside her spoke again, her voice soft but carrying an underlying power. These flowers are the heart of the garden. They are older than you can imagine. They've seen everything, every season, every traveler, every secret the world holds. If you listen closely, you might hear their stories. Lily turned to look at the flowers. They were unlike any she had ever seen, vibrant, bold, and impossibly tall, their petals like delicate, shimmering tapestries, each one unique in its design. She reached out instinctively to touch one, but the woman's hand gently stopped her. "Not yet," the woman said, her voice kind but firm. "They will reveal themselves to you in time. The garden gives only what is needed. You must be patient." Lily's fingers hovered just above the petals, a tingling sensation running up her arm. She could feel the hum of something ancient beneath her touch, as though the garden itself was aware of her presence. "I don't understand," Lily admitted, turning to the woman. "Why me? Why am I here?" The woman's smile was gentle, but full of something that could have been sorrow. "The garden chooses those who need it most," she replied, her gaze softening as she met Lily's eyes. "It is a place of healing, of transformation. You have been drawn here because there is something you are seeking, something you need to understand, and in time, the garden will help you find it." Lily thought of her life back home, the small town, the ordinary life, the things she had never questioned. She had always felt that something was missing, some unspoken longing that she couldn't quite name. But now, standing in this otherworldly place, she felt an overwhelming sense of purpose. Like she had stumbled upon something so much larger than herself. "Will I know what it is?" Lily asked, her voice barely a whisper. "What I'm supposed to find?" The woman nodded. "You will. But first, you must trust the garden, trust yourself, and trust the choices you will be asked to make." Before Lily could ask what that meant, a soft rustling sound interrupted the conversation. It was faint at first, almost imperceptible, but growing louder by the second. She turned her head, her heart quickening, as the sound turned into a series of rhythmic, heavy thuds. The woman's expression shifted, and for the first time, Lily noticed a glimmer of concern in her eyes. "Stay close," the woman murmured, taking Lily's hand in her own. The ground beneath them trembled slightly, and the air grew thick with the scent of earth and rain. A shadow passed overhead, and Lily looked up just in time to see a massive shape emerge from between the trees. The creature was enormous, its body like a great rolling hill, covered in moss and vines, with limbs like tree trunks, each one moving with a slow, deliberate grace. It was a giant, but not like the ones from the stories. This one was part of the garden itself. Its eyes were like pools of dark water, ancient and full of wisdom, and its expression was gentle. Though there was something almost mournful about it, it moved with such ease that Lily had to remind herself that she was seeing something alive. Something that was part of the garden's pulse, part of its heart. The woman released Lily's hand and stepped forward, her voice carrying across the clearing. "Ah, it's you, the keeper of the forest." The giant tilted its head, the movement slow but deliberate. A deep rumble of sound came from its chest, almost like a sigh. It was the sound of a conversation between old friends, full of understanding. Lily stood frozen, staring at the creature. The woman's words echoed in her mind. The keeper of the forest. What did that mean? The giant's massive form shifted, and Lily could hear the creaking of ancient wood as it bent toward the woman. She reached up, placing a hand gently on its arm. Her fingers brushing against the bark-like skin. The contact seemed to ease the tension between them, as though the garden itself had been holding its breath. "You've been waiting for this moment, haven't you?" the woman asked softly, her voice filled with a quiet reverence. The giant's eyes closed, and for a long moment there was only silence. Then it spoke. Its voice was like the deep rumble of thunder, but gentle, carrying an almost otherworldly resonance. The garden grows, and with it the balance shifts, the giant said, its voice vibrating through the ground beneath Lily's feet. The keeper's role has changed. There are new choices, new paths to walk. The garden calls for a new guide, one who can understand the heart of this place. The woman nodded solemnly. I understand, she replied, and you believe Lily is the one. The giant's eyes turned to Lily, its gaze searching as though it was looking deep within her soul. The air seemed to still, every leaf frozen in place. The pressure of its stare was almost overwhelming, and Lily felt a strange pull in her chest, like the garden was waiting for something, for her. The garden does not choose lightly, the giant's voice rumbled. The one who guides must be strong, must be wise, but most importantly, they must listen. Lily felt a chill run through her, but she stood her ground. Listen? She asked, her voice trembling slightly. Listen to what? The giant's eyes gleamed with something ancient, to the whispers of the earth, to the voices of the trees, to the secrets of the flowers. Only then can you understand the garden's true purpose. The woman turned to Lily, her face filled with a quiet urgency. You must decide, Lily. Will you listen to the garden? Will you choose to guide it, to become its voice in the world? Lily's heart raced. The weight of the decision hung in the air like an unseen force pressing on her chest. She had come here out of curiosity, out of the need to find something she couldn't quite name. But now, standing before the keeper of the forest, she realized that this was something far greater than just a journey. It was a choice, a responsibility. I don't know if I'm ready, Lily admitted, her voice soft with uncertainty. How can I possibly understand all of this? I'm just me. The woman smiled, though there was no mockery in it, only kindness. You don't need to know everything. The garden has its way of revealing what is needed when it's needed, and you will learn just as the garden will learn from you. The giant's eyes softened. The garden does not demand perfection, only that you listen and trust. Lily looked from the woman to the giant, then to the vast, quiet beauty of the garden that stretched endlessly before her. She felt a warmth stir within her chest, something that felt like a spark of hope, of purpose. The uncertainty was still there, but it no longer felt like something to fear. The woman stepped back, her gaze soft but steady. The choice is yours, Lily. Will you accept the garden's invitation? For the first time since she had entered the giant garden, Lily felt a deep sense of calm settle over her. She didn't have all the answers, and she didn't need them. All she needed to do was listen, to trust. Lily nodded slowly. Yes, I will listen. The giant let out a low, rumbling sound, a sound that felt like approval, like the earth itself was pleased. The woman smiled warmly, her expression full of quiet pride. Then the journey begins, the giant's voice echoed, as the garden around them seemed to breathe in unison. The moment Lily made her choice, the air around her seemed to shift, as if the garden itself had exhaled a deep sigh of relief. She could feel the change, like a quiet but profound heartbeat that pulsed through the earth beneath her feet. The garden was alive, and she was no longer an outsider, merely a visitor passing through. She had become part of it, a part of its breath, its rhythm. The giant, towering above them like an ancient sentinel, let out a low rumble of approval. Its massive form shifted slightly, as if it were ready to move, but it stayed where it was, watching her with those deep, knowing eyes. The woman, still standing beside Lily, gave a gentle nod. You've made the right choice. The garden has chosen you, and now it will show you what you need to know. Lily's heart raced, but she wasn't sure if it was from fear or excitement. The air felt different now, thick with the weight of something important. She could feel the pull of the garden's mysteries, its quiet promise that there was something here for her, something waiting to be discovered. She turned to the woman. What happens now? She asked, her voice barely a whisper. The woman smiled, a soft, knowing smile. Now, the garden will begin to teach you. It has always had a way of revealing its truths to those who are willing to listen. But first, you must understand its purpose. You must learn why it exists. Lily's eyes widened. Why? You mean it has a purpose? The garden is alive in that way? The woman nodded slowly. Yes, the garden is alive, but not in the way you think. It is a place of magic, of balance. It holds the memories of the world, the ancient forces that shaped the land. The trees, the flowers, the soil, they all carry the essence of life itself, and its purpose is to nurture, to heal, and to protect. Lily's mind spun with the enormity of the revelation. She had never thought of the world in such grand terms, where everything, even a garden, had a role to play in the greater scheme of things. But standing here in this magical space, she could feel the truth in the woman's words. The garden was more than just a place of beauty. It was a fort, and she was now part of it. But how can I help it? I don't know anything about gardens, or magic, or any of this. Lily's voice was full of uncertainty, but also a growing sense of wonder. The woman's expression softened. You will learn, just as I did, just as the garden's guardians always have. It's not about knowing everything at once. It's about listening to the earth, to the plants, to the creatures. The garden speaks in its own way. You simply have to trust it. Lily nodded, though she still felt a flutter of doubt in her chest, but she had already made the decision. There was no turning back now. Whatever was coming, she would face it. She would listen, just as the woman said. The giant stirred again, its massive form shifting with a creaking sound, like the groaning of old wood. Slowly, it began to move forward, its long, gnarled limbs swinging gracefully. Each step a deliberate and measured motion. Lily's gaze followed its movements in awe. How could something so large move with such purpose, like it was part of the very earth itself? As the giant moved deeper into the garden, the woman gestured for Lily to follow. Come, the first lesson begins now. Lily took a deep breath and stepped forward, her feet sinking slightly into the soft, mossy ground. The path ahead was winding and overgrown, with tall grasses and vines that seemed to reach out to brush against her arms. As she walked, the air around her felt heavier, richer, as if the garden was deepening with every step. The woman led the way, her silhouette moving gracefully through the forest of giants. There are many things the garden can teach you, she said, her voice carrying easily over the soft sounds of the garden. But the first and most important lesson is this: the garden is not a place of passive growth. It is not simply about beauty or tranquility. It is about balance, the balance between life and death, growth and decay, light and shadow. Lily furrowed her brow. Balance, but how can something so beautiful also be about decay and death? The woman paused, turning to face Lily. Because everything in nature must have balance. Without decay, there can be no new life. Without death, there can be no rebirth. The garden understands this, and so must you. They had reached a small clearing where the ground was covered in soft, silvery grass. In the center of the clearing was a small, crystal-clear pond, its surface reflecting the soft glow of the stars above. The giant had stopped at the edge of the clearing, its massive form looming over them like a protective guardian. The woman stepped closer to the pond, her feet silent on the soft earth. "This pond," she said, "is the heart of the garden. It is the source of its power, the place where all life begins and ends. The water here holds the memories of the past, the wisdom of the world, the essence of all things. It is the garden's lifeblood." Lily approached the pond slowly, her eyes drawn to the stillness of the water. She could see the reflection of the stars, but there was something else in the pond, something deeper, something hidden beneath the surface. "The pond is where everything begins," the woman continued, her voice soft but filled with purpose. "Here, the garden takes shape. The flowers, the trees, the creatures, they all spring from the water, nourished by its magic. It is both the beginning and the end. Everything that grows in the garden comes from this place." Lily knelt beside the pond, her fingers just above the surface of the water. She could feel the energy pulsing beneath her skin, as if the pond were alive, breathing with her. For a moment, she hesitated, but then, with a deep breath, she allowed her fingers to touch the water. The instant her skin made contact with the cool surface, a wave of energy shot through her, and her vision blurred. She saw flashes of light and color, images of distant places, strange creatures, and powerful forces at work. The garden was alive with memories, with stories that spanned beyond time. It was all there, beneath the surface, waiting for someone to understand. Lily gasped, pulling her hand back from the water. The vision faded, leaving her breathless and dazed. She turned to the woman, her heart pounding. What was that? What did I just see? The woman's gaze was steady, as if she had expected this. The garden's memories. The pond holds the essence of everything that has ever lived here. The triumphs, the losses, the joys, and the sorrows. It is a place of learning, of understanding, but it is also a place of transformation. Lily blinked, trying to make sense of what she had just experienced. But why show me that? What does it mean? The woman's expression softened. It means that you are beginning to understand the garden's heart. You've felt its power. You've seen its history. And now you must learn to guide it. Lily's mind swirled with questions, but one stood out above all the others. Guide it? How? I don't know how to guide anything. I'm just me. The woman's smile was gentle, almost reassuring. That's the point, Lily. You are just you, and that is enough. You don't need to be anything more. The garden doesn't need perfection, only presence, and in time you will find the answers you seek. The giant, standing silent in the background, gave a low, rumbling sound, a deep, resonant hum that seemed to echo through the ground. It was a sound of agreement, a sound that filled the air with a sense of understanding. Lily stood up slowly, her eyes still on the pond, her mind racing. The garden was more than she could have ever imagined. It wasn't just a place of beauty. It wasn't just magic for the sake of magic. It was a living, breathing entity, full of stories, full of life, and it needed her help. She wasn't sure she was ready. She wasn't sure she knew enough. But standing here, feeling the garden's pulse, she knew one thing for certain. She had made the right choice. The morning light filtered softly through the leaves, painting the world in hues of amber and gold. The garden felt different now. The quiet hum of magic that had once seemed distant and abstract was now palpable, woven into every blade of grass, every branch, every petal. Lily's senses were heightened, attuned to the rhythm of the earth beneath her feet, to the pulse of life that moved in time with her own heartbeat. It was as if she could feel the garden's breath, slow and steady, guiding her deeper into its mysteries. The woman had left her to her own thoughts the night before, allowing her to sleep beneath the ancient trees, their towering trunks providing shelter and protection. But now, as the morning stretched out before her, the woman reappeared, her silhouette moving gracefully through the clearing. "You slept well?" she asked, her voice calm, carrying no judgment. Lily nodded, her mind still hazy with the remnants of the dreams that had come to her. In those dreams, she had walked through the garden, but it was different than what she had seen with her eyes. The flowers had whispered to her, their voices soft and urgent. The trees had bent low, their branches heavy with secrets, and the pond had glowed with an otherworldly light. There had been a sense of something imminent, something just beyond her reach, and it had left her with a sense of longing, as though she were on the edge of understanding. "I think I understand," Lily said slowly, her voice quiet, almost hesitant, but there's still so much more to learn. The woman smiled, her eyes warm with knowing. "Yes, there is much more, but don't rush. The garden doesn't hurry, and neither should you." Lily stood up, stretching, the muscles in her back aching from the unfamiliar softness of the ground. She felt both at peace and unsettled, a strange mix of calm and anticipation, as if something was drawing near. She could sense it, the shift in the air, the subtle change in the garden's energy. "What comes next?" Lily asked, her gaze meeting the woman's. The woman tilted her head toward the path ahead, where the garden stretched out in every direction, its beauty so vast that it almost seemed endless. "Now you begin to understand the garden's magic, but before that, we must visit the heart of the garden. It's where the true power resides." Lily's heart skipped a beat. The heart of the garden. She had heard the woman speak of it before, but this was the first time she mentioned it with such gravity. There was a reverence in her voice, something deeper than what Lily had yet experienced. "The heart," Lily repeated, her voice tinged with curiosity. "What exactly is it?" The woman's eyes grew distant for a moment, as though recalling a memory long buried. "It is the source of everything, the life force that sustains the garden and everything within it. Without the heart, the garden would wither, but the heart is not just a place, it is a presence, a consciousness. It sees all, knows all, and guides those who come seeking. Lily's breath caught in her throat, a presence, a consciousness. It was impossible to grasp, but somehow she understood. There was something ancient, something untold, at the very core of the garden, something she needed to understand. "Where do we go?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The woman motioned toward a narrow path that wound deeper into the forest, beyond the familiar trees and the flowers she had already seen. "Follow me," she said simply. They walked in silence, the only sounds the soft rustling of the leaves and the occasional call of unseen birds. Lily's feet sank softly into the mossy ground as they moved deeper into the heart of the garden. The air grew cooler, the shadows longer, and the sense of magic intensified with every step they took. As they walked, Lily's mind raced. The heart of the garden was a place of power, of true magic. But what did that mean for her? What was her role in this? She had chosen to listen to the garden, but she still didn't fully understand what that meant. What was being asked of her? She wasn't a guardian of the earth, or a healer, or a seer. She was just Lily, a girl from a small town who had stumbled into a world of ancient forces and impossible beauty. And yet, the more she walked, the more she felt connected to it, as if the garden were whispering its secrets to her, one step at a time. The path began to narrow, the trees on either side growing taller and thicker, their trunks twisted in strange patterns. The air grew heavy, thick with the scent of damp earth and sweet flowers, and then, without warning, the path opened up into a clearing. The clearing was small, but the space felt vast, as if the very air was stretched thin by the weight of something enormous. In the center of the clearing stood a massive tree, its trunk so wide it seemed to touch the heavens. Its roots twisted and turned, weaving their way deep into the earth, and its branches stretched high above, disappearing into the sky. The tree seemed to glow, its bark shimmering with an ethereal light, pulsing with a slow rhythm, like the heartbeat of the garden itself. Lily's breath caught in her throat as she stepped forward, drawn to the tree. She could feel its energy, like a low hum in the air, vibrating through the ground beneath her. The woman stepped beside her, her expression solemn. "This is the heart of the garden," she said softly, her voice filled with awe. "It is the core of the magic here. It is the source of all life within these borders, and it is where everything begins and ends." Lily stood before the tree, her heart racing. She could feel it now, the pulse of life that flowed through the garden, through the very earth. It was as though the tree was alive, its roots deep in the earth and its branches reaching for the stars. She reached out a hand, almost instinctively, and placed her palm against the smooth bark. The moment her skin made contact with the tree, a wave of energy surged through her. It was like a flood of warmth, a burst of light that filled her chest and spread out to every part of her body. Her senses exploded. She could feel the roots of the tree deep beneath the earth, drawing nourishment from the soil. She could feel the leaves on the highest branches catching the wind, breathing in the sunlight. She could hear the whispers of creatures in the shadows, the soft rustling of the plants as they grew. And then, in a flash, she saw something else, a vision, a memory, something ancient and far away. A figure stood in the distance, their face obscured by a hood, but their presence filled the space with power. They raised a hand, and the garden responded, the trees bending low as if listening. The flowers opening as though they were answering a call. It was a ritual, a moment of deep connection between the earth and something beyond. The figure was not human, not entirely, but something other, something that had lived in harmony with the garden for eons. The vision faded as quickly as it had come, and Lily was left gasping for breath, her palm still pressed against the tree. She felt as though she had glimpsed something ancient, something important, but she could not fully grasp its meaning. It was a memory, or perhaps a warning. She couldn't tell. The woman stood beside her, watching her closely. You felt it, didn't you? The connection to the heart. It is not just a source of life. It is a bridge between worlds, a connection to the past, to the future, to all things that have come before and all that will come after. Lily nodded, her mind still spinning. What was that vision, the figure. The woman's face grew somber. That was the guardian of the garden. Long ago, they were the ones who kept the balance, who watched over the garden's magic. But the guardian is no longer here. Their presence is lost to time, and now it is up to you to take on that role, to listen to the heart and protect the garden from the forces that seek to harm it. Lily's heart sank. Me? I don't know how to do any of that. I don't know how to protect anything. The woman's gaze softened, her hand resting gently on Lily's shoulder. You don't need to know everything right now. You are not alone in this. The garden will teach you what you need to know in time. And as you listen, as you grow in your understanding, you will find the strength to protect it. The heart has already chosen you. All you must do is trust. Lily took a deep breath, her mind still reeling from the weight of everything she had learned. The garden had chosen her. The heart had chosen her. She was no longer just a visitor, a wanderer lost in a strange world. She was part of it now, and with that came a responsibility, one that she was still struggling to fully understand. But she also felt something else, something deep within her. It was a sense of connection, a sense of belonging. She wasn't just here by chance. She was here for a reason. And she would figure it out, piece by piece, step by step, one lesson at a time. The first rays of dawn touched the heart of the garden, casting a warm, golden light across the ancient tree. The light caught the edges of the vast roots that twisted beneath the earth, making them seem to shimmer as if they were woven from threads of light itself. Lily stood in awe before the tree, still feeling the pulse of energy flowing through her veins, the echoes of the vision lingering in her mind like a faint whisper. The woman who had stood quietly beside her spoke once more, her voice soft yet full of purpose. The heart of the garden is not just the source of life, it is also a place of testing. Only those who truly listen can unlock its power. Lily's heart raced and she turned to face the woman. A place of testing? I don't understand. What do you mean? The woman's eyes, usually so calm, held a glimmer of something deeper now. The garden is full of magic, yes, but its magic is not given freely. It must be earned. Each of us must face a challenge, a trial, to prove ourselves worthy of the gift the garden has to offer. Lily took a hesitant step forward, her heart beating faster. And what kind of trial? The woman's lips parted into a slight smile, though there was no humor in it. That, Lily, is for the garden to decide. Lily swallowed, uncertainty creeping into her chest. She had not expected this. She had thought she would learn, slowly, at her own pace, about the garden's secrets, about the heart. But now she realized that the garden was not just asking her to listen, it was asking her to prove something about herself, about her connection to the earth, to the magic of this place. The ground beneath her feet shifted slightly, and she felt an odd sense of weightlessness, as if the earth itself was watching her, waiting. The air seemed to thicken, and the trees around them began to sway, their branches creaking like old bones. Without warning, the ground before her rippled, like the surface of a pond disturbed by a stone. From it emerged a shape, a creature, its form slowly materializing as though it were being drawn from the earth itself. It was a giant serpent, coiling and uncoiling as it rose from the ground. Its scales were the color of twilight, deep purples and blues that shimmered in the light. Its eyes were a pale gold, unblinking and wise, as ancient as the garden itself. The serpent moved with grace, its massive body undulating with a fluidity that belied its size. Lily stepped back, startled by the creature's sudden appearance, but she did not feel fear. Not exactly. There was something about it, something familiar. Its presence seemed to fit here, in this place of magic and mystery. The serpent's gaze locked onto hers, and for a moment she felt as though she were being seen, truly seen, down to the very core of her being. "This," the woman said, her voice steady, "is your trial." Lily blinked. "My trial?" she repeated, her voice uncertain. What do I have to do?" The woman's eyes were soft, but there was a weight to her words. "You must face the serpent. It is the guardian of the garden's trials. It will test your resolve, your understanding, and your connection to this place. It will challenge you to see beyond what you know and confront what you fear." The serpent's long body coiled around the clearing, its movements slow but purposeful. Lily felt the pressure of its gaze upon her, felt its ancient wisdom settle over her like a blanket. It was as if the garden itself had stepped forward, taking on a physical form to test her. "You do not fight it," the woman added. "You listen, you understand. The serpent's test is not one of strength, but of heart." Lily took a deep breath, trying to steady the flutter of nerves that had begun to stir within her. She had never been particularly brave, never one to seek out danger or conflict. She was just a girl, an outsider in this strange, magical world, and yet, standing here now, she felt something stir within her, a quiet courage perhaps, or a deeper knowing. The serpent's golden eyes never left hers. Its body undulated gently, creating ripples in the air that felt like whispers, like soft breath against her skin. Lily stepped forward, her heart pounding. She could feel the weight of the moment. The garden was watching, the heart was watching, and the serpent itself seemed to be waiting for something. She didn't know what exactly, but something inside her told her that whatever happened next, she would never be the same. The serpent's form shifted, its tail rising into the air like a great wave. Lily raised her hand instinctively, as if to hold it back. She didn't know why, but something inside her told her that the serpent was not a creature to be feared, not an enemy to be defeated. It was a challenge, yes, but it was also an opportunity to prove something. "Trust the garden," the woman's voice broke through her thoughts, a gentle reminder. "Trust yourself." Lily nodded, though she wasn't entirely sure what that meant, but she felt the truth of it deep within her chest. She had already made a choice to come here, to listen, to connect, and now the garden was asking her to go even deeper, to understand something she had yet to fully grasp. The serpent's gaze softened, almost imperceptibly. It lowered its head to the ground, its massive body coiling into a loose spiral around her feet, not threatening, but watching, waiting. For a moment, the world felt utterly still, as though the garden itself was holding its breath. Lily took a slow breath, and then, without thinking, she spoke. "I am here," she said, her voice soft but steady, "because I want to understand. I want to protect this garden, protect its magic. I don't know how, not yet, but I will learn, I promise. For a moment, nothing happened. The serpent remained still, its gaze fixed on hers. Then slowly, the coils of its body began to loosen. It raised its head and let out a soft hiss, not one of danger, but of acceptance. The woman, who had been watching silently, stepped forward. "The serpent has spoken," she said quietly. "It has accepted you. You have passed the trial." Lily's breath caught in her throat. "What does that mean?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. "It means you are ready," the woman replied, her eyes shining with something that resembled pride. "Ready to truly begin your journey as a guardian of the garden. Ready to listen, to learn, and to protect. The garden has chosen you, Lily. You are a part of it now, as it is a part of you." Lily felt a flood of emotions rush through her: relief, gratitude, awe, and something deeper, something that felt like the quiet stirring of a purpose she had never known before. She had faced the serpent, not with strength, but with understanding, and in doing so, she had passed the test. The serpent, its coils now relaxed and its eyes soft, slithered away, disappearing into the undergrowth with a quiet rustling sound. The garden, once again, seemed to exhale, as though releasing a breath it had been holding for eons. Lily stood, the weight of what had just happened sinking in. She was not just a visitor here, she was a part of it, and now it was up to her to learn, to listen, to protect. The woman placed a hand on her shoulder. "It is time for you to begin your true work, Lily, but do not rush. The garden will teach you, as it has taught all those who have come before you. Trust in yourself and in the garden. It will guide you." Lily nodded, her heart full. There was so much more to discover, so much more to learn, but for the first time, she felt ready. The garden was no longer a place of mystery, a place she had stumbled into by accident. It was her home now. And it would be up to her to protect it, to learn its secrets, and to ensure that its magic lived on for generations to come. The journey had only just begun. Thank you for following Lily's journey through the giant garden. If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe, and may your dreams be filled with magic and wonder. Good night, sweet dreams. And may you find peace and magic in your own heart as you drift off to sleep.